Greetings, one and all. My name's Jason, and you have stumbled across the latest edition of Tunes and Talk. Welcome to my tiny studio apartment bathroom, where I entertain you, hopefully, through song and mindless chatter about once every 2 weeks. I call it Tunes and Talk because Commode Cabaret just didn't sound right. I have a theme for this particular show. I'm calling it 10 Songs, 5 Decades. And so you'll be serenaded by me with 2 songs from the 1950s, 2 from the 60s, 2 from the 70s, 2 from the 80s, 2 from the 90s. That brings us all the way up to the 2000s, which, as we know, as far as music concerns, was pretty much the beginning of the end. So, am I showing my age? I'm going to kick this off. These first couple of songs, I've never even attempted, so forgive me if I'm slyly staring at lyrics on screen. This first song was popularized, I should say, not all of these songs were necessarily written in the particular decades, but they were recorded and were the biggest. The recordings in these particular decades were the biggest hits. So somebody else might have recorded it in an earlier or later decade, but it wasn't as big a hit. So this was recorded by the Five Satins in 1956. Taking some of you folks back to your prom. In the still of the night, I held you tight, 'cause I love you so. Promise I'll never let you go. In the still of the night, I remember that night and day. The stars were bright above. I'll go and I'll pray to keep your precious love before the light pull me again. All of your might in the still of the night. In the still of the night. So before the light hold me again, all of your might in the still of the night. 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 Got your saddle shoes and your poodle skirt out yet? Your Letterman sweater? The first time I heard that, I think, was on a Happy Days episode about 100 years ago. Neat story about that song, Patti LaBelle, the fabulous Patti LaBelle, who I'm such a fan of, when she was in high school or thereabouts, she and her sisters decided to enter this talent contest, and they were going to sing in the still of the night. Well, of course, backtracks and karaoke tracks and such didn't really exist back then, so they kept practicing by singing along with the record, right? So they had the five satins singing behind them, and then when it came time to get up and sing, they didn't have the five satins behind them, and Patti said it was a train wreck. She's like, how in the world we thought we sounded good, and then she said, well, I guess anybody can sound good when you've got the five satins backing you up. But she got quite upset on stage and said some words in anger and ran home to her mother, who she thought would comfort her, but instead read her the riot act for being so unsupportive of her sisters and so mean to them. And she said that lesson stuck with her for the rest of her life, to always support and love her sisters no matter what. So that's the power of music and or musical experiences. This next song was released a year later as one of Patsy Cline's biggest hits, and I love Patsy Cline. 1957. Oh, boy, that just jumped right in there. I was expecting a longer intro. Okay, let's try that again. It's the danger of using a brand new track. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I walk for miles along the highway, well, that's just my way of saying I love you. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I stopped to see a weeping willow lying on his pillow. Maybe he's crying for me. And as the skies turn gloomy, the night winds whisper to me, I'm lonesome as I can be. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just hoping maybe you're somewhere walking after midnight, searching for me. I stopped to see a weeping willow lying on his pillow. Maybe he's crying for me. And as the skies turn gloomy, the night winds whisper to me, I'm lonesome as I can be. Go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just hoping you're maybe somewhere walking after midnight, searching for me. Walking after midnight. If you ever get the opportunity, if you haven't already, to see the stage play Always Patsy Cline, do yourself a favor, buy a ticket before it sells out, because it will, and go see it. It's such a remarkably well done show. It is essentially, as far as actors are concerned, it's a two-person show. The woman playing Patsy Cline and the woman playing her friend Louise Seeger. And it tells the story of how these two struck up an unlikely friendship very, very early in Patsy's career, and how that friendship follows them throughout the rest of Patsy's life until she passes away. And of course, there's a live band on stage, and they do so many hits of Patsy's during the show because of course the show chronicles her performing and recording and all this. It's a beautiful show. I've seen it 2 or 3 times myself, 3 I think. And at one time it was the single most often performed stage play in the United States. So if it comes through your town, by all means, do yourself a favor and go see it. Even if maybe you're not a huge Patsy Cline fan, if you just like good music and a good story, go see it. This next song gets us into the 1960s. Been recorded so many times, but this one I think was probably the biggest hit when it was recorded by Lenny Welch in 1963. When you just hear love and never get love, you better let love depart. I know it's so, and yet I know I can't get it out of my heart. You made me leave my happy home, took my love and now you're gone. Since I fell for you, love brings such misery and pain. I guess I'll never be the same since I fell for you. Well, it's too bad and it's too sad, but I've been in love with you. First you loved me, then you snubbed me, but what can I do? I'm still in love with you. Well, I guess I'll never see the light. I get the blues most every night since I fell for you. Since I fell for you. I believe did Art Garfunkel do a cover on that? Art Garfunkel may have done a cover on that once upon a time. And of course, the late and very, very great Al Jarreau has a sparkling rendition of that song that he recorded. And you know, even in the first season of the Jennifer Garner television show Alias, which I used to love, big fan of that show, she was, of course, playing a double agent for the CIA, and she went undercover in this upscale jazz type club, and she gets up on stage, and that's the song she's singing. I don't think they had someone else's voice dubbed in. I think it was her. I mean, I'm sure it was probably electronically altered and whatever, but just a classic tune. Moving right along in the 60s, this actually came out a year before that, but probably not in this rendition, but this is the tempo and the arrangement that I've always been very, very partial to, and was by the fantastic Neil Sedaka. You tell me that you're leaving, I can't believe it's true, 'cause there's just no living without you. Don't take your love away from me. Don't you leave my heart in misery. 'Cause if you go, then I'll be blue. Breaking up is hard to do. Remember when you held me tight and you kissed me all through the night. Think of all that we've been through. Breaking up is hard to do. They say that breaking up is hard to do. Now I know that it's true. Don't say that this is the end. Instead of breaking up, I wish that we were making up again. I beg of you, don't say goodbye. Can we give our love one more try? Come on, baby, let's start anew. 'Cause breaking up is hard to do. Breaking up is oh so very hard to do. Oh, so very hard to do. Always been partial to that arrangement. Of course, it was a big hit when Neil recorded it with all the whole comma, down, doobie, doo, down, comma, and yeah. Just doesn't quite give you that same feeling, does it? Although, and I'm such a pop culture guy, there was an episode of Bosom Buddies, the old show with Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari back in the 80s. And Thelma Hopkins, who of course had originally been a member of Dawn, as in Tony Orlando in Dawn, she played a character named Isabel, who managed the hotel for women where the guys were masquerading as women to get cheap rent. And she had a chance to enter a talent competition at an open mic, and she was going to sing that song, and you do the up-tempo version, and like the first time she was trying to walk up on stage and she banged her head on the door frame and knocked herself out. And so the second time she got up there and on the stage and she pulled the microphone out and hit herself in the head with it and knocked herself out. And I think she knocked herself out a third time too. And finally, they managed to convince her not to give it all up and go home and say it was never meant to be. And she came out, and instead of singing the up-tempo, she sang that rendition, that arrangement, and just slayed it. And I have been in love with that rendition ever since. And I was but a child back then. Even then, I knew good music when I heard it. Speaking of good music, this is, believe it or not, the 50th anniversary of Carole King's Tapestry album, one of the biggest selling and best musical albums of all time, multiple Grammy winner, and this was the first hit from it, and arguably the biggest. And God, I haven't sung this in so long. I hope I don't screw up the lyrics. Can't remember if this track's in my key either. Stayed in bed all morning just to pass the time. There's something wrong here, there can be no denying. One of us is changing, maybe we just stop trying. And it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it, something inside is dying, and I can't hide, and I just can't fake it. Whoa, no, no. It used to be so easy living here with you. You were light and breezy, and I knew just what to do. Now you look so unhappy, and I feel like a fool. And it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it, something inside is dying, and I can't hide, and I just can't fake it. Oh, no, no. Where were you in 1971? Were you born yet? There'll be good times again for me and you. We just can't stay together, don't you feel it too? Still I'm glad for what we had and how I once loved you. But it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it, something inside is dying, and I can't hide, and I just can't fake it. Oh, no, no. It's too late, baby, it's too late now, darling, it's too late. Oh, the great Carole King. Doesn't get much better than Carole King, you gotta admit. And in 1971, when that was released as a single, the first single from Tapestry, the B-side, which was usually for songs that were sort of relegated to, well, it'll never be a hit, but we'll just stick it on a record anyway, give it some, maybe somebody will listen to it and like it. The B-side was, I feel the earth move Under My Feet, which of course also became a huge hit. So it was like a 2 A-side record. Continuing on in our journey through the decades, this next song came out in 1975 and was the first and a huge hit for Palm Springs' very own favorite son, or favorite celebrity. Okay, well, maybe he's Brooklyn's favorite son, but we claim him now, Barry Manilow. And I'm going to adjust my volume here because I have to use a different music player for this. This was done by Barry as a really big kind of soaring ballad. And actually, it was not meant to be done in the style that he did it. It was supposed to be a much more up-tempo song, and he just wasn't feeling it. And so the producers, let me just play around with this. And he played it like he felt it ought to be played, and they're like, bam, that's it, go with it. Served him well. But I have my own take on this. I do it a little softer, a little quieter, a little more intimate. From 1975. I remember all my life raining down as cold as ice. Shadows of a man, a face through a window, lying in the night. Night goes into morning, just another day. Happy people pass my way. Looking in their eyes, I see a memory. Never realized how happy you made me, oh Mandy. You came and you gave without taking, but I sent you away, oh Mandy. You kissed me and stopped me from shaking, and I need you today, oh Mandy. Standing on the edge of time, walked away when love was mine. Caught up in a world of uphill climbing, tears are in my eyes and nothing is rhyming, oh Mandy. You came and you gave without taking, but I sent you away, oh Mandy. You kissed me and stopped me from shaking, and I need you today, oh Mandy. Yesterday's a dream, I face the morning, lying on a breeze, and pain is calling, oh Mandy. You came and you gave without taking, but I sent you away, oh Mandy. You kissed me and stopped me from shaking, and I need you today, oh Mandy. You came and you gave without taking, but I sent you away, oh Mandy. You kissed me, you stopped me from shaking, and I need you. I need you, Mandy. I need you, oh Mandy. was listening to that. I think I forgot to have my music player take out the chords. So there's that heavy clunk here and there. And I'm like, what is that? It's like, oh, I forgot to turn off the chords and just have it be piano. Oh well, hindsight's 20/20. So also in the 70s, we had Paul Williams, arguably one of the greatest songwriters of the 20th century, who wrote, and I mean seriously, like Rainy Days and Mondays and The Rainbow Connection and Loneliness and so many hits for other people. He recorded quite a few himself, but so many, What Would They Say? Just string after string after string of hits for all these recording artists. And this is one of his most well-known, and it was recorded by Helen Reddy, the beloved Helen Reddy, who we just lost a year or so ago. It was originally recorded and written by Paul as like a couple who is together, whether it be husband and wife or life partners, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, but a couple who's leaning on each other. When Helen did it, she wanted to have a different take, so she made it between a mother and child. Hence the opening.
Tell me again, Mommy.
You and me against the world. Sometimes it feels like you and me against the world. When all the others turn their backs and walk away, you can count on me to stay. Remember when the circus came to town and you were frightened by the clown? Wasn't it nice to be around someone that you knew, someone who was big and strong and looking out for you and me against the world? Sometimes it feels like you and me against the world. And for all the times we've cried, I always felt that God was on our side. And when one of us is gone, and one of us is left to carry on, then remembering we'll have to do. Our memories alone will get us through. Think about the days of me and you and me against the world. And for all the times we've cried, I always felt that God was on our side. And when one of us is gone, and one is left alone to carry on, well then remembering we'll have to do. Our memories alone will get us through. Think about the days of me and you and me against the world.
I love you, Mommy.
And she loves you too, baby. also, in addition to being such a formidable singer-songwriter, also quite a good actor. Every now and then, in reruns of 70s TV shows, you'll see him pop up in a guest starring role, usually playing a musician or a singer or whatever. Although, if you've ever seen the Smokey and the Bandit series from the late 70s, you may remember Big Enos Burdett and Little Enos. Big Enos being played by Pat McCormick, great character actor, and Little Enos was played by Paul Williams because he is quite the diminutive gentleman. So there's your pop culture trivia on both music and movies from the 1970s. That brings us into the 80s. Wow, into the 80s already. Oh, and that one, Helen Reddy recorded that song in 1974. So getting into the 80s, I picked two songs that would probably not have been anywhere near the hits that they were. They would not have achieved the hit status if it were not for other media. The first one was recorded by Chris de Burgh in 1986, and it was a hit. It got a lot of airplay. People really liked it. But one of the keys to its success, and I've said this before, it was used as a super couples theme song on a daytime soap opera. That was Days of Our Lives at the time. And these two characters, Steve, also known as Patch, because he had the eye patch, and Kayla, played by Stephen Nichols and Mary Beth Evans. That was their theme song. And again, as I've said before, if you can score a song that you've written as a super couple soap opera theme song, and certainly back in the era when the daytime TV schedule was just crowded with soaps, you were money in the bank. I mean, bang. You had it all wrapped up. So here's your first 80s flashback.
Never seen you looking so lovely as you did tonight. Never seen you shine so bright. Never seen so many men ask you if you wanted to dance. Looking for a little romance, given half a chance. I have never seen that dress you're wearing, or the highlights in your hair, they catch the light. I have been blind, lady in red is dancing with me, cheek to cheek. There's nobody here, just you and me. Where I wanna be, I hardly know. This beauty by my side, I'll never forget the way you look tonight. Never seen you looking so gorgeous as you did tonight. Never seen you shine so bright. You were amazing. Never seen so many people want to be there by your side. And when you turned to me and smiled, you took my breath away. I have never had such a feeling of complete and utter love as I did tonight, Lady in Red is dancing with me, cheek to cheek. There's nobody here, it's just you and me. It's where I wanna be. I hardly know this beauty by my side. Never forget the way you look tonight. Never forget, Lady in Red. 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 I love you. Krista Berg. Another little diminutive gentleman. Well, sometimes big voices come out of small bodies, right? But that was quite the song of seduction for old Patch and Kayla on Days of Our Lives, or Duel, as the fans referred to it. You know, I think that's it's still in the air. I think that's one of only 4 soaps, 4 daytime soaps that's still around. And that's been on the air since like '65. So it used to be, how many fans do we have that will keep us on the air? Now it's, how good are we at staying under budget? That'll keep us on the air. So the world changes. Oh, this other song from the 80s was actually first recorded, and by the same group, in 1970, I think, 70 or 71, I think it was 70, and went nowhere. I mean, it wasn't even a blip on the radar. And then, during the 80s, when you had the Thursday night ratings king, the block of programming by, I think it was NBC or ABC, I think it was NBC, where you had the Cosby Show, it was NBC, Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers, and Night Court. That 8 to 10 p.m. programming block, they had it all locked up. And Michael J. Fox's character on Family Ties was very, very self-assured, to say the least. And then he fell in love, and after a while, she didn't love him back. And it broke his heart. And seeing cute little self-assured Alex get his heart broken broke America's heart. And this song got the breath of life, breathed back into it, and became #1 hit on the pop chart for Billy Vera and the Beaters. And this was, what, 1980, 81, so early 80s. So it took them 11 years to record it and put it out again, but when they did, bada bing, bada boom. Actually, I think this was, might have been later than 81, but at any rate. What did you think I would do at this moment when you're standing before me with tears in your eyes, trying to tell me that you found you another, and you just don't love me no more. What did you think I would say at this moment when I'm faced with the knowledge that you just don't love me? Did you think I would curse you, say things to hurt you, 'cause you just don't love me no more? Did you think I'd hate you, raise my hand to you? Now come on, you know me too well. How could I hate you? Darling, I love you, and you know I'd never hurt you. What do you think I would give at this moment if you'd stay? I'd subtract 20 years from my life and fall down on my knees, kiss the ground that you walk on. If I could just hold you again. I'd fall down on my knees, kiss the ground that you walk on, baby. If I could just hold you. If I could just hold you. If I could just hold you again.
Billy, Vera, and the Beaters at this moment. They had a follow-up kind of sort of hit. I don't remember the name of it, so obviously it never approached the fame that one did. But I know they did release a follow-up single, and then pretty much just disappeared from the musical landscape. But hey, they rode that pony for as long and far as it would gallop, so God love them. And that brings us to the last decade that I'm going to serenade you with, and that's the 1990s. And I've chosen not one, but two songs from the divine Miss M, Bette Midler. This first song was originally recorded as a country song by Colin Ray, and I'm a big Colin Ray fan. Terrific, terrific voice. And I had heard his rendition when he was guest starring in a role on an old syndicated action adventure show called Street Justice, which starred Carl Weathers and Brian Genesee in the 1990s, and Charlene Furnetz, who also was later on a daytime soap that was still on that's not on anymore. See how my brain works? Anyway, not long after, Bette Midler recorded a version, and her version includes a bridge, and I really love the bridge, which is not in the Colin Ray version. So usually when I sing this, I cleave to Bette's version, and I believe this was out in 1990. So here we go.
For all I've been blessed with in this life, there was an emptiness in me. I was imprisoned by the power of gold. With one kind touch, you set me free. Let the world stop turning, let the sun stop burning. Let 'em tell me love's not worth going through. If it all falls apart, I will know deep in my heart the only dream that mattered had come true. In this life, I was loved by you. For every mountain I have climbed, for every raging river crossed, you were the treasure that I long to find. Without your love, I would be lost. Let the world stop turning, let the sun stop burning. Let 'em tell me love's not worth going through. If it all falls apart, I will know deep in my heart the only dream that mattered had come true. In this life, I was loved by you. I know that I won't live forever, but forever I'll be loving you. Let the world stop turning, let the sun stop burning. Let 'em tell me love's not worth going through. If it all falls apart, I will know deep in my heart the only dream that mattered had come true. In this life, I was loved by you. In this life, I was loved by you.
Isn't that a beautiful song? Such a beautiful song. And Bette does it so wonderfully well. I can only aspire to do it as wonderfully well as Bette Midler does it. But that's sort of what musical icons are for, right? Among other things, they're not just to entertain us, they are to give us an ideal to which we can aspire. This last song, the last one for this edition of Tunes and Talk, was one that Bet recorded for the movie For the Boys, which was an underrated movie. It won a couple of Golden Globes, like for makeup or whatever, because they aged both her and James Caan through a period of like 40 or 50 years. But it's really a terrific film, and it's a shame that it did not get a wider audience. If you've not seen it, check it out. You can probably, find it on Amazon or YouTube or something to rent for like $1.99, whatever. And it's well worth it. Well worth it. If for no other reason than just to hear Bette Midler sing this song as the end credits roll. And it's a song about friendship, and as I've said before, that's something that is very important to me as I make my way through this life, because friends really are the family we choose for ourselves.
Old friend, here we are, after all the years and tears and all that we've been through. It feels so good to see you looking back in time. There've been other friends and other lovers, but no other one like you. Oh, my life, no one ever has known me better. And I must have traveled down 1,000 roads, been so many places, seen so many faces, always on my way to something new. Oh, but it doesn't matter, 'cause no matter where I go, every road leads back. Every road just seems to lead me back to you. Old friend, there were times I didn't want to see your face or hear your name again. Now those times are far behind me. It's so good to see your smile. I'd forgotten how nobody else can make me smile the way you do. All this time, and you're the one I still want beside me. And I must have traveled down 1,000 roads, been so many places, seen so many faces, always on my way to something new. Oh, but it doesn't matter, 'cause no matter where I go, every road leads back. Every road just seems to lead me back to you. And I must have traveled down 1,000 roads, been so many places, seen so many faces, always on my way to something new. But it doesn't matter, 'cause no matter where I go, every road leads back. Every road just seems to lead me. Every road leads back. Every road just seems to lead me back to you. Every road just seems to lead me back to you.
And ladies and gents, that wraps up this edition of Tunes and Talk. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend or week, and we'll do this all the next time. Love you guys.